All right, today I'm coming at you from the void. I know, but to be honest, it's a miracle that we're here together right now. It feels like fate because the obstacles for this video getting done have been immeasurable, but we're here together now. That's what matters. I'm gonna share with you guys my thoughts on some of these newer hot products, let you know if I think they're must-haves, and just give you my takes on them, how they're working for me, whether I think they're worth it or not, who I think they're best for, all of that. So let's just get into it. We're gonna start off with this bad boy. Okay, this is the Taupe Major Skin Hydrolux Luminous Skin Perfecting Foundation. I know, it's a long freaking name. I was really excited for this foundation just because it is Taupe, and I do feel like he creates really beautiful, like decadent, glamorous products. And you know, it sells the fantasy, okay? It sells the fantasy. So I was excited, but the reviews on this seemed really scary. They were hit or miss. I have oily skin, and I also feel like not only that, but my skin is so finicky. So I was just like, I don't know. I don't know if you're gonna work. But luckily Kelly Gooch, she had an extra of these. So she asked if I wanted to try it, and I was like, yes, I would love to try it and just see. I was hopeful maybe it would work, but a lot of the reviews were saying this was really heavy, very thick. I mean, the word Crisco was used in a review I read on Sephora. So I was just like, this is scary. But I have to say, I know I'm starting out here like indecisive, but I would say this is not a foundation for me, mostly though because I just can't trust this foundation. I have no idea how it's going to perform. The first time I wore it, my skin actually looked beautiful. I applied it really gently. I was going in with minimal product and it turned out beautiful. I actually felt like my foundation stayed on really well. It didn't get oily throughout the day, so I was like, oh my gosh, like mind blown. I can't believe this thing's working for me. Since then, it's been almost impossible to recreate that, so like, you know, what's that about? I will say, oddly, I find this foundation with time sits better on my skin. Like when I first applied, I can definitely see where it is, like the pigment on top of my skin, which unfortunately is not like a new thing for me. I feel like a lot of foundations really sit on my skin, emphasize my texture and my pores, but not only that, it's like each little pore is holding a pocket of foundation and it almost looks like dotted. I don't know how to explain it. If you know, you know, okay? You know the struggle. I'm gonna bring down the brightness so you can really see what's going on my face. Hopefully you can, but obviously like you can just see it sitting kind of in the pores, sitting kind of on top of my skin. Like I almost look, not that I don't have any texture, like obviously I have pores, I'm like have little breakouts, whatever, but I'm just saying like there's almost a texture of the foundation on my skin where you can see that pigment. That being said, I do really love the finish of this. It's glowy, but it doesn't have any of those shimmery particles in it. And although it is thick, I don't know if it's just the more I use it, the more I'm used to how thick this foundation is. But for some reason now, I don't think of it as thick as like that first squirt out of the bottle. The shade I have is Golden 4, and I do feel like the shade match is pretty good on me. So as much as I'm not like getting rid of this foundation, and I want to continue trying it with different bases, also when my skin is in different conditions, because again, my skin can be a little temperamental. It's not really doing it for me. It's really not doing it for me. It would be yet another miracle if this thing could work well, and I just don't know if I'm gonna be blessed with two. You know what I mean? So it's a no for me. I don't think it's a must-have, but if you have really great skin, like most stuff works for you, and you want a little bit of a glow, this has like a medium coverage. It could look beautiful on your skin. I've seen it look good on so many people. I don't know if it's like the age of my skin, the texture of my skin, just my skin. But for me, definitely not a must-have, even though I'm gonna keep trying to make it work and just see if I can maybe unlock something, but I'm still kind of doubtful that will happen. But if you have oily skin and textured skin and, you know, maybe are similar to me and you found a way to make it work, let me know. Next to talk about, this is the Huda Beauty Easy Blur Primer. I did buy this with the actual like skin tint, and I'm still getting my thoughts on that. Again, another one that I'm like, I don't think it's a must-have, but I will say this primer, if you're looking for something that's gonna blur and is going to control oil, I do think this works well. Like the primer itself is one of those almost kind of silicone, well, it says silicone free right here on the top, but it has that kind of, you know, that clear primer feel to it, but this one doesn't stay slippy. It kind of dries down once you put it on, and I almost get scared like it's gonna start pilling, because that's been my experience with other primers like this, but I haven't had that experience with this primer yet, no matter what, even when I'm using brushes and not being super delicate. And I have to say, it definitely does blur, and it definitely does control my oils throughout the day. Like I can tell a decided difference when I wear this in my T-zone tone than when I don't. And that's even with foundations like the Patrick Ta. Like I can tell it controls my oils better with the Patrick Ta, even though that one makes me a little more oily. And it just works even better with foundations and base products that I already know and love, which right now I have like 2. Like I have like 2 tried and trues right now. That's it. It's rough out here. I've been trying freaking everything. And that's part of the reason why I've been trying to test stuff way more than just doing first impressions. Not that those are bad. I think it can be really fun to try products, but especially with base products, I want to have multiple uses to really know how it's working, because I've just been fooled by so many first time uses of foundations where I can just never recreate that same situation. So anyway, surprisingly, I really think this primer works, and I haven't been into primers lately, which is another big shocker. So, you know, the price on this for the packaging, it's $29, and I do feel like the packaging is maybe a little basic. I wish it was something different, I don't know, but I do feel like what's inside, it's working for me. Another one, if you're looking for really smooth skin, this powder from Makeup Forever, this was sent to me by them. I've really been loving this, especially when I want my skin to look really smooth, really kind of like porcelain and just like airbrush. This powder does it, and I think it's partially the application. So what I love about this, it has the puff, which, you know, everyone does the puff now, no one's using brushes, whatever, but in here has the sifter, which is so nice. So you can kind of open it or close it for however much powder you want, and it all sits within here. So I can get the powder into my puff. Sometimes I'll dab some extra out on my hand just so I don't have too much, because I'm not someone who loves to over powder. I just find, especially under my eyes, I mean, I know reflecting light creates texture, but sometimes I just don't want that like lifeless powdery look, you know what I mean? Anyway, if I use less, I definitely don't get that with this. And if anything, I feel like I do have to touch up with this. This powder is not going to keep me as matte as like the Huda Beauty one, or in my experience, the Laura Mercier. Those ones to me are more long wearing powders, but for smoothing, this one is so good. And I just love that the puff comes with it, because I don't necessarily want to bring a puff separately. Some powders are more difficult to get the right amount of powder on your puff or to fit them into the container, and this just comes all together, which I just absolutely love. So I've been loving this. I wear the shade 1.1 Light Vanilla in this powder, and I've been loving this. I really, really like it. Definitely a good release. I'm gonna switch it up to like an update kind of thing, because I hauled, okay, I'm getting powder everywhere. This is from Crown Affair, and it's the dry shampoo. I'm not only oily all over my skin, but also on the top of my head. And so I love a good dry shampoo. I love trying them out, and I've been loving the day one. I've repurchased that now like 3 times, but I was getting so many ads for this, and I just wanted to give it a try. And even when I went to go buy this at Sephora, all the sales rep were like, oh my gosh, like they were so excited I was asking about Crown Affair. They were like into it. I don't know what was going on. Maybe they got prepped on it that day, or I don't know. I felt cool is what I'm trying to say. Like, ooh, I'm in the know. Anyway, first thing I have to say, this powder smells amazing. If you're into the smell of your hair products like the Orbe or anything like that, this has that kind of musky, clean, kind of addictive smell. So good. So I love that about it. And I love that this brush comes with it. So this is a little bit different. And I'll just say this, you better be ready to have an entire new routine for your dry shampoo, okay? You have to become a different person to use this dry shampoo. And when I bought this, I kind of knew that, and I was willing to do that, but I will say, I just don't know if this is for the most oily of us, you know? I used this today, and I showered last night. So my hair, for me, is already looking like I could use a little oil relief, you know? Not a ton, so this is perfect for that, and it's really easy to get in there with the brush. It's a little tedious, same kind of sifter where you can move it and close it type of thing, like with the Makeup Forever, which is nice, but it's tedious, okay? Putting this on, it's like, give yourself some time. It's no spray in, zhuzh it around, get out the door. That's not what you're gonna have happen with this, at least my experience. And again, for my oiliest days, this is not gonna really put a dent in it like I feel like the day one can do, but this doesn't get on your scalp in the same way. It's a totally different application mechanism and situation. So it's for the right person with the right lifestyle, with the right hair type. I could see this working so great, and I love that for you, and it smells so good, and it's so cute. And all the Sephora employees are so excited for you to have it, and I am too, but I just don't know if I'm the girl for it. That's how I feel. I want to be, but I'm just getting less use out of it than I feel like I should for how essential this type of product is for my daily routine. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Makeup by Mario Etherealized Moonlight palette. It's what I have on my eyes today, which this entire makeup look, like I said, miracle to be here, okay? It's been hard to get in this seat, to be in this void here talking to you. So that all being said, my makeup's been on for a while today, but I really love this look. It's a little bit on the smokier side. I went into this shade here, but topped it with a kind of iridescent blue leaning shadow in here, and then went in with some of the smokier shades to smoke out the outer part of my eye, as well as add a little bit of a wing, and I feel like it turned out really pretty. That being said, let me talk about what the palette is, what's in here. If you haven't seen it before, this is the newest release from Makeup by Mario. This, I believe, retails for $69. And kind of the short of the review is, if you're a fan of the Ethereal Eyes original palette and you're interested in this color story, I think you're gonna really like this palette. I think you're gonna be really happy with it. But if you didn't like the formula of those shadows, I do feel like this is very similar, especially with the way that the shimmers are. These are some of those really light, almost no base to them kind of shimmers, which I really like. You guys know that. I really love a shimmer like this. It's one of my favorites. There are 4 in here, and you know, I don't think swatching does them justice, and I also feel like they are a little bit on the powdery side, and the particles themselves are very light. So if you're putting these on an already really powdered eye, you know, they're not really gonna stick. And so I really suggest, if you want the most impact from them, to go over a cream shadow, or even use something way more tacky like a glitter glue from NYX, from Too Faced, something like that. So that way it's really sticking on, because you know, I do have some fallout. I had fallout from the beginning of the day, and I did get a little more fallout throughout the time I've been wearing this. That's not the biggest deal breaker for me, but I know for some people it's just like a hell no. So keep that in mind if you don't want fallout. Be strategic with how you're applying those shimmers. And similar to my experience with the other Ethereal Eyes palette, the mattes are very blendable, which is great. They blend so easy. I absolutely love this matte. I absolutely love this matte. The black is pretty nice as well, but I do think that they give that kind of softer look. So if you're looking for really harsh edges, you're gonna have to be very intentional with it. And I still don't know if this matte powder shadow is the best formula for that type of look, but for me, that blended look is more my everyday. I'm looking for something easy, and for 1, 2, maybe 3 shadow looks, that's what this is going to be best for. Just really easy stuff, but with a really refined formula that I think is beautiful. I love the way the sparkle is on these shadows, because it is so fine, and it does have like a luxurious look to it to me. So I am very happy with this. I think it's a nice, like, more cooler toned option. Here's the original palette, and then this is the Moonlight palette, so you can kind of see them up close and like next to each other, what they look like. I initially thought the new one wasn't necessarily that different, but the other palette was way warmer. That all being said, I'm really excited for this, but there are so many shimmery eyeshadows coming out. Patrick Ta's duos are coming out. I'm very excited for those. I know they're expensive, so we'll get into it. We'll see if they're worth it, but there's also the Huda palette that's coming out, the Icy Nudes, other single shadows, the Moon Dust shadows from Urban Decay in the palette. So I feel like there are other options if this doesn't work for you, but I do really like this palette overall. My gripe with it is that this is the original Ethereal Eyes, and this was like a metal palette. So like, this is cold to the touch, and again, it's like a metal outside, which I thought was really unique. And when I got this one, I immediately was like, whoa, not as heavy, but also it is a plastic outside, and I don't know why they changed that. I hope it's not just for price, you know what I mean? But I do feel like it's a little bit of a downgrade in the packaging. I don't know though if between this palette and the relaunch or like the restock of the other Ethereal Eyes, because the original palette sold out and then they didn't come back in stock for a very long time. If you got it on the restock, let me know if it's that metal packaging or if it's similar to like the plastic packaging. And I'm telling you, you'll know if it's metal or if it's plastic. Anyway, small complaint, but something I noticed like immediately getting this out of the box, and I wish it was the same. Next, I wanted to mention these brushes from BK Beauty. This is the Holy Grail Trio, and these ferrules are so pretty. I love the BK Beauty brushes, and all of these are relaunched. So if you already have a set and you're not looking for a duplicate, might not be the set for you. These are pre-existing brushes, but they just have that luxe ferrule on them, which is beautiful. To give you a comparison, this is the Holy Grail brush, and this is what a normal BK Beauty brush looks like. These are both the 101, which I love to use for foundation. I just think it looks so good. That's what I use today, and I in general just love the BK Beauty brushes. I think if you're looking for some really luxurious brushes that are gonna last you, these are the way to go. I've had mine a very long time. I've washed them multiple times, and I've had absolutely no issues. I've had none of the ferrules fall off. I've had no issues with shedding at all. They're super soft. These are the softest, most luxurious feeling synthetic brushes that I've ever felt. I just think they're beautiful. So the trio comes with the 101, which again, I use for foundation. I really love the way that this can kind of stamp and blend out your foundation. foundation. It has the beloved concealer brush. This is the A506. It's from the Angie Hot and Flashy collection. Love this brush, okay? Again, a similar kind of shape, but so much smaller to get right under your eye to stamp out concealer. So beautiful. And then it also has the 109. This one I use more for like smaller contour or cream product. I also do like using it as well if I want to densely pack on some powder, especially in my pores here. If I just want to like stamp on some powder and like cut the shine, I will use this brush for that too. But in general, I just wanted to shout these out in case any of these were on your list to try. I thought it was a really cute set. I love the Luxe Metal Ferrule and brush in general. I think they just look so nice. So I'll have these down below. I'll also have them linked in the YouTube shopping, which I think my code for BK Beauty is already in there, but I do have a code with them. I'm an affiliate with them. I really, really love their brushes. So good. Let's talk about this deodorant from Phlur. This was sent to me from them, and it's in the scent Vanilla Skin, which I absolutely love the Vanilla Skin scent. It's this woody vanilla skin scent that I just feel like has the best sillage. It lasts so well. I literally am like almost done with my bottle. Like it's basically done. I have like a spray left. It's so good, and I love a vanilla perfume. I love perfume in general. I have a whole fragrance channel. I'm into it, okay? So this deodorant caught my eye, but I am not on the natural deodorant trend. Like I need something that's gonna, like I don't wanna smell bad. I don't wanna smell bad. And the first time I used this, it actually was pretty good. Like I did not feel like I was stinky even by the end of the day, and I was kind of out walking around. I could kind of get some whiffs of this, and since then I've been wearing it a little bit more, and I don't know what it is, but man, I just feel like every time I wear it, I progressively get more stinky faster. Like I don't know if that's science or real, but that is what I'm experiencing, and it makes me so sad because I would really love for this to be kind of my off-day deodorant, but it hasn't been working out that way so far. Luckily, I have no issues with this being on my armpits because I have had trouble in the past, especially with baking soda deodorants that they irritate my underarm. I've gotten rashes and all that, but this is using like an acid to fight the bacteria that causes stink. So, I mean, I don't know how well it's doing. Again, I don't know if my body's getting used to it. I don't know what it is, but it's like freshly showered, put this on, was stinking like 30 minutes later, and I'm like, oh, I felt so self-conscious, and that's just not worth it to me. I'd rather stick with my Dove and then go in with my Vanilla Skin. But if you don't have issues with deodorant and you've had a lot of luck with BHA deodorants, then this might be something to look into, especially if you want a Vanilla Skin deodorant or you're a really big fan of Vanilla Skin, the perfume. So yeah, not working for me. I'm gonna put it away and probably bring it back out. Like I don't want to give up on this, because even if it's just like a lounge at home kind of deodorant, like I'll take it, but I definitely am not wearing this for out and about. Like if I'm even gonna think about sweating, this isn't gonna do it for me. That's what I've learned so far. Okay, I'm gonna talk about a few more scent things. I know not the right channel, but I just feel like some of you might appreciate it. So I wanted to mention this. This is from Love Shack Fancy. It's the Sugar Blush Body Mist. I've tried all of their fragrances, and none of the actual EDP perfumes are for me, but this body mist, I got it in the body mist trio that they came out with, which it's just so expensive. Body mists, what's going on? Some of these body mists are like, it was like $70 for 3 this size, which is the 3 fluid ounces, you know? That's travel, that's on the plain size, you know? Anyway, Sugar Blush was the one I was hopeful that I would like the most, and I by far like it the most. This has notes of passion fruit, pink rose, and pink sugar, but you know, I get way more of the sugar and almost something kind of creamy. This to me smells like Boardwalk Delight from Skylar, if you've smelled that. Oh, it's so good, very vanillic. It's cotton candy, a little bit of coconut milk, like so good. I get that same scent here, but instead of coconut, I would say it's more of like strawberries and cream, but that same kind of underlying base. So good, so girly. I just feel like this is what strawberry shortcake smells like. Like it just smells girly and sugary, and I love getting out of the shower and putting this on. Definitely more of a cozy scent. And I have to say, so many of these body mist brands, you can't actually like spray it on, if you know what I'm saying. Like if you start going in, it starts like getting all weird and leaking and shit. This one, look at that, flawless every spray. Flawless every spray. All the other ones are not like that. Let me tell you, okay? I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting it on my fingers. I'm like, okay. So I just had to shout out the mister for a second because I just appreciated how nice it was to actually like get the spray going and be done with it and not have to be like, you know, timing out the sprays so that I got full sprays. Anyway, really love it if you're looking for like a little fun pick-me-up treat. I've been loving this. Okay, and really quick, last for kind of scent related stuff, but this is also body care. I have some stuff from Lush. This is the Super Milk and it's a conditioning hair primer. I got this from Creators and Friends where we were doing like a gift exchange, and as soon as I saw this up there, I was like, I have to get that. Like, I'm so excited. This definitely has had its moment online, been kind of viral. I think they've had it for a while, but the virality of it is more recent, and this smells so good. You guys just go in and smell it if you can. It's like lemony, but then it has this creamy, like sugary milk kind of scent to it. I know that sounds kind of scary, like what the hell, but it's so good. And it almost has a little bit of spice to it as well. So it reminds me of like frosting on a cinnamon roll, kind of. Like that's kind of what I get from it, with a little bit of that lemon. This is a leave-in conditioner, so that's how I use it. And I don't use a ton of it because I do have oily hair. And I already use a leave-in conditioner once I get out of the shower, because not only that, my hair is so tangly. So it's just, you know, issues on issues with this stuff. But I absolutely love the smell. It's so good and it lasts forever. So I have loved using this, like loved it. Highly suggest checking it out. I think the hype is there for the smell alone, but I also like it as a leave-in conditioner. The other Lush product I just wanted to mention, in case you're a gourmand lover out there, Sticky Dates. This is the shower gel. I've had this a while actually. Okay, yeah, I really have, because it says I should use this up by the 13th of November 2023. So, you know, this should already be gone like a year ago. That being said, it still smells great and I'm using it up currently, so don't worry. But if you've been hearing about Sticky Dates, I do think the hype is real. I love this gourmand from Lush. It says it's like a date syrup with vanilla and sandalwood, and I just think it smells really sweet and rich, but not in a fake way. There's something woody and kind of nutty going on with this fragrance that I feel like is more realistic than it is just like completely artificial, which I just really appreciate. And I've been loving using this in the shower lately. I believe they've expanded the Sticky Dates line, so there's like a body spray, I think there's some lotions and maybe some other products. So I just wanted to shout out, if you've been seeing this around, another one I think you should get your nose on, see if you like it, see if it's gonna work for you. I think it's a nice shower wash also for this season, like going into cold weather. It just smells nice and kind of cuddly. And I also like the Lush shower gel because it isn't super drying. So yeah, I like this and I think it's really good. Thought I would shout it out. Okay, last couple of things. Let's talk about these Rhode blushes. I bought 4 of the shades and they are all so pretty. I'm gonna swatch them for you. I have Spicy Marg here. Look at this. Ooh. So pretty. Love this one for summer. There's just something about a coral like this that I feel like just brightens and like gives me some life to my face. Then we have Piggy here, which is a beautiful baby pink, but this baby pink is slightly more dusty and like mauve-y than the kind of baby pink we've been seeing, which I just really appreciated that. That's what I'm wearing underneath. I have other blush on, and again, it's been a long day, but I really love that color. Then for some more neutral colors, I got Freckle, which is kind of like my everyday go-to. Like this is the type of blush I wear all the time. It's kind of brown toned, but also warm, and I feel like it always looks so good no matter what I'm kind of wearing. And then I also have Sleepy Girl, which is another really beautiful one. It has way more brown in it and almost has like that terracotta look, but with a little more purple in it. So I just think the colors are really pretty. As for the formula, it is a more creamy formula, but I do think it works for my skin. And if you have drier skin or combo skin, I definitely think this formula is gonna work for you as well. It shears out really nicely and I just have enjoyed it. I feel like a comparable formula would be the Persona Dream Sticks. I love those, and those are a little bit more pigmented. I feel like they don't sheer out as much, but are really creamy, and I've loved those. I've talked about those a ton. Another cream blush formula I really like are the Westman Atelier ones, but those are definitely more like powdery creams. These definitely have a little more glow to them, but I like all 3 of them for different reasons, but I still like these. I think they're nice. Now to bring up Kelly again, she recently was like, these are the same size. Actually, this is technically bigger than this, but they are the same price for a similar amount of product. It just doesn't feel like it because the packaging, which I know some people like loathe this package, like hate this packaging. I don't mind it. I get that they're supposed to be pocket blushes, but maybe they're just referencing the actual amount of product you get. I do like them overall. If you were interested in them, if they seemed like something you might like, I'm here to tell you. I do think they're good and I have really enjoyed them. Okay, last couple of products. This is the new ABH Volumizing Tinted Brow Gel. I have it in the shade Taupe, which is kind of the color I go for in Anastasia products. This is just a mini, which I appreciated that they sold because it was nice to try before buying the full size. And I do like this product. I do find that it adds some volume, and the brush is kind of interesting. One side is a little bit of a shorter spoolie and the other side has some longer bristles to it. I won't lie to you though, I still am figuring out how I like to use that. Like, you know, what side is depositing product, what side is helping me spoolie through things. I mean, I'm just kind of doing my best and trying to get product on my brows, which if you're looking for fast coverage and color, I do think this works really well for that. I just don't love that it doesn't define my hairs as much as I want, but it does, like I said, get that color on, which can be nice if you're trying to get your brows on out the door pretty fast. So I'll usually go in with this first and just kind of brush it through, get the best shape that I can, and then I kind of finish out the shape with a little bit of a pencil, mostly focusing that on the bottom part of my brow and the tail. I will say though, taupe to me, I don't know if it's just on me or what, but I do feel like it turns a little warm. I don't know, all my brow colors are feeling like they turn really warm on me, and I tend to like something a little bit more ashy overall. So I like this. I'll use this. I don't know if I'd repurchase. I have kind of my go-to brow routines. I have like 2 that I do, just kind of depending on the brow that I want, but it's not bad. It's solid, just not my perfect brow product, I think. Last 2 things are lips. I wanted to kind of update you guys on this Saie lip liner. This is in the shade Flirt, and I've been really loving this. It's that wooden pencil, and I really like the formula overall. It's similar to the Tower 28. It's similar to the Makeup Forever, and those are pencils that I do really like. This one's also similar though to the Tower 28 in the way that it smells. It has that kind of crayon, you know what I'm talking about. You can smell the wood, you can smell the crayon. I've described before almost like an irony kind of taste to it, you know what I'm saying? So it does have that a little bit, but because it's on the edges of my lips, I don't mind it as much as if it were to be like a full-blown lipstick. And specifically the color Flirt is a little bit deeper. It's like a warmer terracotta color on me that I feel like is looking really nice for fall. Easily could be an everyday lip color for me, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like usually I go just a tiny little hair lighter than this, but I have been enjoying it and I love the formula. So if there's a color you like, it might be one to check out. I think it has decent staying power without being that really lock-in lip liner, because that is definitely not my preference. I would rather something kind of gradually fade away in a really elegant way than be locked down and feel kind of like a film over my lips. I'm not into those. Okay, we're gonna finish it off with this one, which I'm kind of giving you a little bit of insight into the holiday video I have planned. I have a few videos planned because the Sephora sale is coming up. I will definitely have a recommendation video for you guys, and I also want to do like kind of a big holiday video letting you know what holiday releases I think are great or aren't. And here's a bit of a preview, and unfortunately a letdown with the Summer Fridays. This is the Hot Cocoa Lip Butter Balm, which I love the lip butter balms, okay? And last year's iced coffee was so good. I'm obsessed with it. I'm so glad they brought it back, and that's the one I still recommend. I still recommend that one. But Hot Cocoa I was excited for. I really was. I was excited for a little chocolatey holiday moment with one of my favorite formulas. Color, great, love a little chocolate moment, but I was shocked when I put this on my lips, first off because I feel like the formula of this is thinner than my other lip butter balms. You let me know if you agree, but this went on thinner, and I feel that way every time I put it on, so I didn't love that because I like the texture of the lip butter balms. I don't want it necessarily thinner, but maybe more than that is the fact that this chocolate scent, it's given chocolate. It really is there, but when you put it on your lips, it then tastes sweet. It tastes sweet, so that mixed with the smell of the chocolate slash kind of the taste of the chocolate and the sweetness, I just feel like I'm putting pudding on my lip, chocolate pudding all over my lips. I just don't like when lip products are overly sweet. I can do a little, and again, I wouldn't mind the smell, but when you're physically tasting your lips and it's like you dipped them in Sweet and Low, I'm not into that. I really am not. If you told me they took a chocolate jello pudding packet and put it in the formula of this, I'd believe you. I'd believe you. That's what it feels like to me. It's just a little distracting and I just don't love it. So I don't know. I know that might be a little nitpicky, but it definitely didn't live up to how excited I was for this, unfortunately. But let me know your thoughts if you picked this one up. Do you like it? Do you like that it's sweet like that? I've just been noticing that in a few other products as well, like lip products, and I'm like, why are we sweetening them? Like, we're eating them. These aren't lip smackers. Like, we're okay with just like a little, but it's like a full-on treat on your lips, I swear. And I'm not a huge fan. So stick with the iced coffee one. That one's so good. Well, those are all my thoughts on some of the newer hot products out there that I've been testing, and I'd love to know your thoughts on them if you've tried them. There's some good ones, there's some bad ones, there's some in between if it's like the perfect product for you. But yeah, I hope my reviews were helpful. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.